You're watching a Big Z review. Weapons is a new horror thriller from the writer and director Zach Cregger, from Barbarian and The Whitest Kids You Know. And it is a really interesting and completely original film that I enjoyed a lot.
This is a true story that happened right here in my town. A lot of people die in a lot of really weird ways in this story, but you're not going to find it in the news.
So this film is kind of right up there with Long Legs for movies that have really good trailers, but then don't really reveal at all what the movie is really going to be about. And it's kind of like a little bit like Barbarian itself did, his first movie he directed too. And like that, like a Barbarian, I love that film. And it was great, that the setup is this kind of like a pretty basic setup. It just seems like almost like a meet cute gone wrong, where like two people get their same Airbnb, and then there's something in the basement. And that's when the whole movie takes a long, crazy turn. And in this one, the main setup is just that, like a kindergarten or like first or second grade class room. Like every kid in it, except for one, disappears overnight. And that's the basic setup for this. And the rest of the film, there isn't like a big twist in this. Instead, it's a very interesting way that the movie is formatted. But essentially, you follow like certain characters. Like maybe like a character is the viewpoint character, and then you get to a certain point, and then that's like a new chapter, and then it would be featuring the name of the character, and you go back in time a little bit, and you get their perspective of what happened, and then you get up to a certain point, and you go back to a different character. Then you go up to a certain point, and you go back to a different character. Then you go up to a certain point, and go back to a different character. But the way they do it, like they kind of, each time you keep progressing a little bit by the end, until like the last one, then you're kind of just in all the characters are kind of smashing together, and you get like the climax of the film. And like I think that is really an interesting way to format the film, and I think that it worked really well. The other thing, and I think you got all the angles that you needed. I wouldn't have minded like a little bit more from someone investigating it. Like you do have a cop that's one of the viewpoint characters, but he's pretty much a fuck up. He's like an alcoholic that's going on a bender essentially, and then he gets pulled into the investigation. But and I also think that there's one character, I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a character behind a lot of the stuff that's happening that I kind of wouldn't have minded seeing something from their viewpoint, to explain why they're doing what they're doing a little bit more. But at the same time, I think it would be too much, because at this point, a lot of the creepy shenanigans that goes on, they present the rules to us, but they don't go into how they work. And I think that I appreciate that. It's a little hand wavy, but it's not too much. It's enough that they tell you, okay, this is how it is, and you go, okay, cool, So the 6 viewpoint characters are Julia Garner as Justine Candy, and she is a teacher for the kids, and she is this is her first or second year at this school, and she'd been fired from her previous job, and she had a DUI previously, and now because everyone kind of hates her and thinks that she did something, so she's getting drunk all the time. But then she kind of interacts with all the other characters. She, I think, is the main character. And then you have the main parent that they're featured is Josh Brolin as Archer Graff. And he's a house builder or something. It's not really that important. But essentially he is blaming Julia Garner, wants the police to arrest her and try what she did to our kids. But honestly, he's doing a lot of the investigation, trying to figure out, looking at the different camera angles. Essentially, when the kids disappeared, they just like at 2:17 in the morning, they just opened their doors and ran out like a Naruto run. You're running in the middle of the night in this suburb, and everyone did it at the exact same time, and then no one can find them. And I think too, like, for stuff that's revealed later, I feel like, I don't know if I missed it. I think they said it'd been a month since the disappearance to when the movie started. And I feel like for some of the stuff that's revealed later, that's a little bit too long, but it doesn't really matter. And then you have Alden Ehrenreich as Paul, and he's the fuck up cop that's dating the chief's daughter, but he's also having like trysts with Julia Garner, and he is kind of like, he's definitely a smaller character. I think Julia Garner and Josh Brolin are the two main characters, but Alden Ehrenreich, he comes in kind of, there's some interesting like side stuff between him and Austin Abrams as Anthony, and he is like a mess head that's just roaming around this beautiful little town, but like getting into trouble, breaking into houses, finding stuff he shouldn't be finding, but like they kind of like interact because like he arrests him, but shenanigans occur. But there's some funnier stuff here. There's some like dark humor throughout the film. I think most of the funnier stuff kind of surrounds Austin Abrams and Alden Ehrenreich. But then you have Benedict Wong as Andrew, and he's the principal, and that's like another smaller portion of the viewpoint, but that like plays into like crazy stuff that happens, like the parts that like when in Julia Garner and Josh Brolin's story, when they start to collide, then there's other stuff going on, and that's really important for that. So it's kind of cool. Like each story kind of builds up to a crescendo, and then something crazy happens, and you kind of go back in time and see how did we get there. Like it has a great ebb and flow for this film. Like I really like what they did. And then the last viewpoint character is Carrie Christopher as Alex Lilly, and he is the only like surviving kid in this classroom. You know, the kid that all the other kids disappeared, and he's just sitting in the room like not knowing what's happening. And like the way they do it too, like they have like a little girl narrating almost like it's like a tall tale, like telling a story about their town that like you won't see on the news anywhere because they're covering it up. And it's kind of an interesting way to do it. But I don't think you ever really met this girl that's narrating it, I don't think. And the only other character that I didn't really mention, there are some other side characters, but you also have Amy Madigan as Gladys Lilly. And that's like the little kid's aunt. And yeah, shenanigans, she is really crazy. She's an interesting, real different character. And like I don't know how to describe this film, because like there's not that much scary stuff. There's like no jump scare. Well, there a couple jump scares, but they all happen in dreams. But I love that the dreams aren't just to be, ooh, spooky, but like they feel like dreams. Like I mean, like they're like the characters kind of even might notice that, oh, this is weird. I think I'm in a dream, or they're trying to interact it, and almost like something in their subconscious is like almost like maybe something else is calling out to them, and they're trying to like find something. Like it's very like they're some of the best dream sequences I've seen, because they're important to the plot, and they kind of infer some stuff. Like the characters might notice something in the dream that make them realize, what would that be like? Again, but they're also very dreamlike. Like one with Josh Brolin, his nightmare is like he sees over his house. He sees an AR-15 rifle above his house in the clouds, and it's setting up the whole title of the film as Weapons. And at the time, he doesn't even really know what it means. And when I saw that, I was like, uh-oh. I was thinking that maybe where this movie would go, but it doesn't do that. But instead, it's such an interesting, weird little flick. I don't know like what I'll feel like when I rewatch it, like because like I think it might be really fun to rewatch, like to see it all again now knowing where it's gonna end up. But at the same time, I don't feel like there's gonna be that much that like you missed the first time around. I feel like it's pretty apparent, but sometimes there's a lot of different like things you can take from it. Like one thing I noticed that like the whole time, like multiple times when and you hear bits like the principal's watch and his partner is watching a video, and it's about the cordyceps fungus, and like you see a little bit scene of them of Julie Gardner teaching a class, and she's talking about parasites, and like there's some it's kind of like interesting like setting stuff up that like when they mention and a lot of stuff like it's kind of like I think it could be like the Pied Piper a little bit, but I don't know. There's so much here that is just very interesting. Like I look forward to seeing what Zach Cregger does next. Like I think I'm not sure if he's the one that's doing the Resident Evil films. Like I can't remember. I know there's one horror guy that I like that's doing them. I can't remember if it's him or not. But like as a whole, it's really good. Like if you enjoy horror thrillers, like mysteries, and like there's not too scary, like nothing crazy, and there's a little bit of gore, but I don't. It's some cringy gore. It's some good stuff, and the climax is crazy, but like it looks good too. Like I mean, I think they use like practical effects, but I mean it's not like over the top. It might gross you out, but it's not too bad. But as a whole, I would definitely recommend it. I'd probably give like an 8.75 out of 10. But thanks for watching. If you want to see more of me, you can subscribe down below. Thanks.